Florida, Michigan on the things that actually matter, I guess, at this point. Michigan 3-0 since Florida since 2012 or 2002. They had that 2015 blowout game, which was pretty ugly from the Gators standpoint. This is, I think, one of the premier games of the first week of college football.
Yeah, not as big as Alabama, Florida State, but you could argue maybe the number 2, depending on what interests you. But it's a little bit of an interesting play for Michigan just across the board. One, they're going back to the scene of one of the most biggest beatdowns in Michigan football history, the 2012 Alabama game. It was 45-14 was the final score, Tom. It could have been 95-14. Alabama was such much better than Michigan that year. Florida, little luster's come off them because these 7 players suspended, so maybe not as excited about this game nationally as I am, of course, for Michigan. But Michigan, surprisingly, Florida's the only team they consistently beat out of conference like that. They just kill them. They crushed them 2 years ago, 41-14. Back in 2007, Michigan beat Tim Tebow. Urban Meyer's, I think, his only bowl loss before last year, or something like that, something crazy like that, or his first bowl loss. And 2002, again, it was a great Florida team with Heisman runner-up, what's his name, Bears quarterback.
Grossman?
Yeah, Rex Grossman should have won the Heisman, and Michigan crushed them in 2002, too. So Michigan's got a great track record versus Florida.
Further proof, Brett, that I am a Rain Man when it comes to where players went to school.
No doubt.
Anyway, this is a 3:30 p.m. game, and you know this, James, producer Brett knows this. I have a wedding to attend. The service is in the middle of this game. So the best man and I have already concocted a very elaborate scheme where I will be signaling in what's going on in the game via hand signs. Kind of like I'm a coach on the sidelines, because he's not very happy about this timing either.
Yeah,
a wedding on the first weekend of college football.
Well, this is not a friend of yours, Tom. This is a guy you're not going to talk to in 5 years. You shouldn't even go to the game. That's a fact. But let's talk a little bit more about Florida in general, if we can. So the biggest question mark for me is the quarterback position. They have been bad at quarterback really since Tim Tebow left 7 years ago, and they tried to bring in
Treon Harris.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's worth insulting. So Malik Zaire, a guy, I'm surprised he transferred from Notre Dame. It must have been a system or a coaching thing that he didn't like there, because he would have been the starter there this year, I believe. Going to Florida, not even named the starter this year. But I thought he was a good player 2 years ago at Notre Dame. I'm expecting him to be a good one at Florida, but he hasn't won the job yet, which is curious.
Yeah, Zaire, he took over in the bowl game for Everett Golson, who had that very short stop at Florida State and ended up not being very good there. And then he played well the first game and a half. That next year he was really good, was kind of generating some Heisman buzz because he was playing so well. Then he had a nasty broken ankle, and then Deshaun Kaiser comes up, and Kaiser balled out that last year. And then last year, Kelly kept playing the stupid QB, the 2 QB, when he just should have stuck with Kaiser throughout. Yeah,
he just, not to talk about Brian Kelly, but he has mismanaged quarterbacks. You think about it, he's had Kaiser, he's had Zaire, he's had, what's his name, Everett Golson, as guys who all did.
Tommy Reese.
Yeah, they've left like 5 years of eligibility in Notre Dame on the table, within the last 3 seasons. So, and now they're struggling this year. But, the Florida defense is really what Michigan's got to worry about. They are, so Michigan is, favored in this game. The Florida defense has been the strength of their team the last 2 years under Jim McElwain. They've really been brutal on offense. So I think it's a strength versus weakness on both sides with this one time. I think Florida's weakness is their offense. Michigan's strength is their defense. And the flip side, Michigan's weakness this year is their offense. Florida's strength is their defense. So I expect a little bit lower of a scoring game than maybe if they played this game last year. It might have been another blowout by Michigan. But I think it's going to be a lot of which quarterback on which side of the field can make the most plays.
They lost a lot on that defense, too. Gerard Davis, Quincy Wilson, Alex Anzalone, Caleb Brandy, Tease Tabor, Marcus May are all in the NFL now. And all but one of those guys was a first, second, or third round pick. And Anzalone actually might have been fourth. But these are all very talented players. It's been kind of a rough offseason for Florida. They had the Antonio Callaway arrest. They've had the quarterback situation. Jim McElwain may or may not have gotten naked on top of a shark.
Well, I want to talk a little about that, Tom, because he's denied it, but I still haven't seen the evidence there was anybody else, and I'm frankly offended. I am deeply offended. I'm going to disavow Jim McElwain. I'm pro-Shark. I don't know about you. I'm pro-Shark. I don't think he should be allowed to coach in this game, is my opinion. If you're going to do that to a Shark, you can't coach college football.
That was my fault.
Where's the photo? I think we have to worry about...
I did hear a report that the guy, it's not McElwain, it's not the Jimmy John's founder either. It was the other guy that it looked a lot like him. But it looked a lot like McElwain. It was really weird.
Well, I'll tell you what, until you show me a state ID or a birth certificate of the guy actually was, it's McElwain in my book. Jim McElwain, if you're watching, I know you are, because this is how you're getting your scouting report for Michigan football. Prove where you were that day. I want to see cell phone records, because if it wasn't him, Tom, I don't want him coaching this game.
I'm pretty sure McElwain's not watching.
Well, I am fairly certain he is, so to say he's not.
You use the phrase fairly certain. I do not think it means what you think it does.
I think it is 99% likely that McElwain's watching right now. I texted him earlier to watch the show.
Other players to watch on the defensive side of the ball here. C.C. Jefferson is a budding young defensive end. A couple good secondary players, Duke Dawson and Chauncey Gardner. That's the next guys for Florida in their little DBU type deal.
Do you think
the heavily contested DBU?
Yeah, very true. Well, I think there's a lot of companies.
It's still LSU, by the way, as far as I'm concerned.
I think there's a lot of schools that are claiming DBU, but do these guys learn how to defend from Jim McElwain and how he defends himself against naked sharks?
No, they learn how to defend from Quincy Wilson and Tease Tabor with football.
Okay, I'm not going to get off this topic, Tom. I haven't seen any evidence to the other side of McElwain.
I really regret putting in the Jim McElwain shark joke, so I apologize for that one, Brett.
Tom,
I'll take the blame here.
Let me tell you, people are talking about McElwain still. I was on Michigan message boards with Scout Rivals, 247.com. All of them are talking Jim McElwain and the Shark, and it's PETA, Tom. They've come out strong against Jim McElwain too.
They came out strong against the person on top of the Shark.
And I follow PETA on Twitter, so I can tell you I support PETA.
That's a brutal follow.
Left Shark?
What's that?
Is this Left Shark?
It was not Left Shark. Great reference though. 10 out of 10.
That's Katy Perry. So
I do need more Left Shark in my life.
You always need more Left Shark in your life.
I honestly think that they kind of butchered that. They really could have taken that beyond and done a whole bunch of other stuff with Left Shark, but they just kind of let it die.
Yeah,
you can't let Left Shark die. Sad.
You heard it here first time. I'm going to be surprised if McElwain makes it into the stadium. There are going to be protests before that game. People are pro-Shark.
You're so full of it right now. This is peak James full of it.
Not full of it. Check the internet.
Do we want to make another
I don't think you know
bet?
the internet works, Tom. I don't think you know how the internet works.
I don't think you do.
People are talking about Jim McElwain, and he's a shark killer. He's a shark humper. He violated that shark. I don't want him coaching against Michigan.
All right, we need to nip this in the butt here. Prediction, James. What's your score prediction? And then we'll get to
No. Hold on. We need to educate some people. Jacob needs to know
what Left Shark is.
Ooh.
Get your Google game going.
Tom, explain. It's from the Super Bowl.
Katy Perry was doing her weird Super Bowl thing, and she had sharks on stage.
Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, and Left Shark was the shark on the left side, and
it was just doing its own thing.
It had no idea what it was. I heard rumors that it was Snoop Dogg was actually.
It was kind of like flailing around out there,
it was
right?
like,
it was doing
like
its own
everything
thing.
was coordinated except for Left Shark.
Left Shark
had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Tom, you're not explaining it very well.
I think I explained it pretty well.
There were two sharks, one's on the left, one's on the right. Left Shark was the guy that just had no idea what was happening.
But when we say Left Shark, I think people know that there's also a right shark.
No. Hey.
Ooh, people are talking about this.
Jacob asked. We had to tell him all the facts.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to predictions.
Prediction, James. What do you have?
I forget what my score prediction was, but I think we're going to toss it on the screen. 27-14. I was thinking 31-14.
Your vision's so bad.
Yeah, my vision is terrible. I can't see the screen in front of me. We've got like 4 big screens in front of me. I can't see any of them. But I think this is a situation where it's going to be like 3-0 at halftime. I think.
God.
Well, I mean, it's like Florida can't score against Michigan's defense at all, I don't think. And so those 14 points might be from an interception or a safety. I think they'll score 7 or 10 points. We'll see where those other points come from.
They're going to somehow get 14 points with a safety.
From their safety.
James got that math on lock.
Yeah, listen. Okay?
Math is hard.
It's a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and 3 safeties. It's clear how it's going to happen.
Jacob does understand that there's a right shark.
Yeah, see, Jacob gets it. There we go.
Yeah, we don't have to explain left or right to our audience.
Apparently
This is one of the smartest audiences in all of Facebook Live, I believe. So, Tom, 27-14. I think it's like a 3-0, 7-0 game at halftime. I think Michigan's going to really kind of struggle to find their way on offense. I don't think Florida's going to be able to do anything against Michigan's defense, which I expect to be strong in that first half. And then, it takes these guys a while to come in. Harbaugh's been a really strong, game planner at halftime. If you look at their Michigan's third quarter the last 2 seasons, they crushed people in the third quarter. And so I expect Michigan to come out, score a few touchdowns, maybe 2, maybe 3 in the third quarter. And I don't want to say win comfortably, but I don't ever think in the fourth quarter Florida's going to be within 1 score.
I have it as a closer game, 24-17. So swap the 4 and the 7 from your score. I think it's going to be kind of ugly. Like, I don't think this is going to be a fun game to watch. I think you're going to see a lot of field position stuff going on and punting it away, and hopefully we get a defensive turnover for a score somewhere along the line. I think both these offenses are going to have a rough time. but I think that means there'll be some good field position to set up the opposing offenses.
So, Tom, one question for you. Do you think Jim McElwain is letting the PETA protests affect his game planning for this game?
No, because there aren't the PETA protests right now.
You're going to see Tom.
This is fake news live, folks.
You're going to see the protests. I'm bringing them.
All right, well, if you want non-protest stuff, download the Chat Sports app at chatsports.com/app. Everything you want if you're a sports fan, none of James's shark stuff. Get it today at chatsports.com/app. Stats, scores, news and rumors, everything all in one spot. Get it today. It's a must-download app, James.
15 days to Michigan football. We'll see you guys next week.
That will do it for us today. For producer Brett Scott, I am part one of the Blues Brothers, Tom Downey, alongside James Yoder. That will do it for us today. You stay classy out there.